Welcome to the Kendo and Aido Italia podcast in this English language version. Enjoy listening.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are stepping onto the mat, both literally and philosophically, I suppose.
Sounds good.
We're exploring that really fundamental relationship in, well, any kind of learning. The bond between student and teacher.
Yeah, it's crucial.
Specifically, we're doing a deep dive into this profound distinction between the Western idea of the ultimate authority, the Maestro, and the Japanese term Sensei.
Right.
Now, they both translate as teacher.
Right.
But our sources really argue that the Japanese term gives us a simpler but maybe much deeper understanding of what an instructor should actually be.
And the best place to start is, well, the words themselves. The contrast is immediate, Maestro. When we use it in English or, other Western languages, it carries this weight of completion, ultimate authority.
And that comes from the Latin, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that root, because it really frames the whole Western perspective, doesn't it?
It does. It comes from magister. And magister is built from magus, meaning great, and this comparative suffix, ter.
Okay.
So Maestro literally means the greatest, the most expert.
Wow. So right there in the word, you're assigning this kind of aura of finality. They've finished the journey. They're the expert. They know it all.
Exactly. Their knowledge is presented as complete. And, that expectation can be a real burden.
Or worse.
Or worse, yeah. It can become a tool. Some sources point out how this definition lets certain instructors position themselves as absolute, unquestionable authorities.
Right. They're at the top, you're way down here.
Mm-hmm. Now, hold that thought, contrast it with Sensei.
Okay.
The direct translation is, well, pretty simple. Person born before.
Born before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the meaning that resonates, the deeper one, is the one who is further along the path.
Ah, okay. That's a huge difference.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The Western term defines the end state, the greatest, while the Japanese term defines only their position relative to you, the student.
So you don't have to be finished. You just have to have started earlier.
Precisely. You just need to be a bit further down that road. Yeah. And that instantly flips the power dynamic we were talking about.
And that right there, that's the key thing for you, the listener, as a learner, right? In any field.
Absolutely.
It changes how you look for expertise. You're not searching for some kind of infallible figure.
No, you're looking for a reliable guide, someone who knows maybe just a little bit more than you do right now.
Not necessarily total mastery?
Not total mastery, just greater current knowledge, which explains why the term sensei is used so broadly in Japan.
Right, like for school teachers, doctors.
Doctors, lawyers, yeah, anyone with specialized knowledge. It's definitely a term of respect.
But not blind obedience.
Exactly. The sources are really clear on this. It's about respect for their knowledge, their effort, the path they've walked, but it's respectful authority, not absolute deference.
You respect the guidance, but you keep your critical thinking engaged.
That distinction is absolutely paramount. You don't just switch off your brain.
And I think the clearest example of this kind of inherent humility is that strict rule about using the title.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
A teacher in Japan, a good one, will never, ever call themselves sensei.
No. It's considered incredibly, arrogant. Maleducato, as one source put it, impolite.
Even the most famous masters?
Even the most famous, most renowned masters. Decades of work. They'll introduce themselves just using their name.
So the title is given by the student. It's an honor bestowed, not claimed.
Exactly. If you claim it yourself, you're basically announcing your superiority. It runs completely counter to the idea of just being further along the path.
That makes perfect sense. It ties right back into that metaphor you mentioned, the path, the via.
It does. The sensei is ahead of you on that path, sure. They're helping, urging you on, maybe pushing a bit. But crucially, they're still walking too. They're still learning, still striving to improve their own practice.
So the guide isn't perfect. They're still on the journey, which means the student has to stay active, responsible.
Absolutely. The sensei cannot walk your path for you. That's impossible.
The effort, the diligence, the actual learning that's on the student.
It stays squarely on the learner's shoulders. The moment you hand over that responsibility entirely, you risk becoming, totally dependent.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit, though, because that idea of responsibility, it changes when we look back historically, doesn't it? Feudal Japan, for instance.
Oh, definitely. The context was vastly different. The sensei back then was often a samurai.
A figure of huge authority, sometimes absolute authority.
Right, and they weren't just teaching techniques, they taught the whole moral code Bushido, the way of the warrior.
And learning was different too, more imitation.
Primarily imitation, yes. Absolute obedience, total dedication. You watched the master, you copied until the movement, the principle, was burned into your mind and body.
It sounds almost like a family relationship based on loyalty.
It often was quasi-familial, yeah. Deep respect, lifelong guidance. It was character education, really, not just skill acquisition.
You trusted implicitly. If they said, stand in the corner for 3 days.
You did it. You trusted there was a lesson there, even if you couldn't grasp it intellectually at that moment. That kind of deference made sense in that very dangerous hierarchical world.
But fast forward to today. That model doesn't quite fit, does it? Martial arts are global now, often sports.
Right. They've evolved from these exclusive, often life or death systems into accessible practices, sometimes highly competitive ones.
So how does the sensei concept survive that shift? How does it adapt?
Well, it adapts, but it's a challenge. The modern sensei needs to be much more didactic, more interactive.
Less do as I do and more let's discuss why.
Exactly. They need to encourage rational understanding, dialogue. Blind imitation isn't enough anymore, or even desirable in many contexts. The modern sensei is this fascinating mix.
A blend of tradition and, modern pedagogy.
Sort of. They have to be a custodian of tradition, respecting the roots, absolutely. But they also often need to be an athletic preparer, a coach, a motivator, especially in sports like judo or karate.
So not just a museum guardian preserving things exactly as they were.
No, definitely not. But here's maybe the most critical role today, for you, the learner. Navigating information overload.
The internet age.
Precisely. With so much information and misinformation online, a crucial role for the modern sensei is helping students discern what's valid, what applies, what's safe.
So they teach you how to think critically about the art, not just how to do the moves.
Exactly. They become a filter, a guide through the noise, helping you apply knowledge correctly within the arts framework.
Okay, this is really practical.
Yeah.
It brings us to, well, how do we find a good guide? Whether it's a sensei on the mat, a mentor at work, whatever.
Yeah.
Our sources give us a really useful checklist, like defining behaviors to look for. Let's dig into those. What's the first point?
Okay, the first one, and maybe the most telling, is avoidance of dependence. A good guide, a real sensei, doesn't try to cultivate this guru vibe.
They don't want followers hanging on their every word, creating an inner circle.
Absolutely not. In fact, if they see a student becoming too attached, too dependent on their personality, a good teacher actively pushes back.
How so?
They'll remind the student, hey, this focus on me, it's actually hindering your growth. The focus has to stay on the path, the art, the principles, not on the guide's ego.
Which flows right into the second point, which sounds a bit strange at first. Working to become useless.
Yeah, it does sound counterintuitive for a teacher, doesn't it?
A little.
But it's the ultimate sign of selfless teaching. The real goal is to help you, the student, walk soon with your own legs, develop your own critical capacity, your independence.
So they're trying to make themselves redundant, in a way.
In the best possible way. This is why a genuine sensei doesn't hoard knowledge or keep secret techniques.
You hear about that a lot in martial arts myths, right? The secret scroll, the hidden move.
Right. But the great masters actively reject that. Look at Morihei Ueshiba, Sensei, the founder of Aikido. He was very clear. Progress comes for those who practice, not secret techniques, since everything is shown.
So if someone is holding back key knowledge, using it to keep students reliant,
that's a fundamental violation. They're prioritizing control over mentorship. Big red flag.
Okay, makes sense. Number 3 is more straightforward, but maybe easily overlooked. Integrity.
Yeah, straightforward but vital. They don't use their position for low-grade personal gain.
We're talking money, beyond fair compensation. Or
inappropriate relationships, power trips, that kind of thing. Their energy, their focus should be on the student's development, not on exploiting the relationship.
Got it. Okay, number 4 challenges some traditional setups, promoting uniqueness.
Yes. A good sensei doesn't want clones. They don't want bad copies of themselves walking around.
Now, what should you see instead if you walk into a dojo or a workshop?
You should see diversity. People moving differently, expressing the principles in their own way, according to their body type, their personality. If everyone looks and acts exactly the same,
then the teacher might be forcing that uniformity.
Very likely. And that stifles real growth. real understanding. You want a serene, ordered environment, yes, but one where individuality within the form is encouraged, not suppressed.
The art adapts to the person, not the other way around.
Beautifully put, yes. And that leads to the fifth point, embracing evolution.
Meaning the teacher has to keep learning too.
Absolutely. They need to evolve, change over time, and they should stimulate that in their students too. They can't be stuck.
Not just guarding the past like a museum piece.
Exactly, because the art itself, whatever it is, it's alive, it's mutable, it has to find balance in the current time. A good sensei respects the roots deeply, but isn't afraid to let the tree grow new branches.
Wow. Okay, finding someone who embodies all 5 of those perfectly, that sounds, well, almost impossible.
It probably is, and the sources acknowledge that. A good sensei isn't necessarily, technically flawless or the world's best communicator or some profound philosopher.
But they approximate it. They integrate those qualities.
They try to integrate them, yes. Think about Ushiba again. Some accounts say his teaching could be confusing, even disorderly sometimes.
Really? The founder?
Yeah. But his students often realize later, looking back, that they got exactly the lesson they needed for their specific situation right when they needed it.
So it's not about perfection. It's about appropriate insight. Good timing.
Precisely. It's about being the right guide at the right moment, even if imperfectly.
Okay, this all leads us to the final piece, maybe the most important. The student's own responsibility. If the sensei is also still learning, still walking,
then the student's role is anything but passive. You can't just show up and absorb.
what does that active role look like?
It involves holding a kind of paradox. One contributor, Viper, put it beautifully. You have to question what you were told, even if it is your master,
Okay.
but trust them simultaneously.
Whoa. Question and trust at the same time. How do you even do that?
It's a tension you have to live with. The trust allows you to try things, to follow the guidance. The questioning keeps you engaged, responsible, and ultimately you run the honesty test through your own practice, your own research. If what you discover for yourself through hard work consistently aligns with what the teacher is saying, okay, they're likely honest, reliable.
But if there's a disconnect, if your experience contradicts their claims,
Then you have to remember the teacher is human. They can be wrong. Or, in worse cases, they might be intentionally misleading. Your experience is the ultimate check.
your own path is the final judge.
It has to be. And this gives us some clear warnings, things to watch out for.
Like what?
Like teachers who demand secrecy just for the sake of it, who shut down questions or dialogue, who claim their way is the only way, the true path, the unique method.
That kind of dogma. Or relying too heavily on lineage, maybe. Saying, my style is pure because my teacher's teacher.
Exactly. That lineage argument can be tricky. Respecting the roots, the tradition, is vital, absolutely. But think of it like this. A trunk has many branches. If the branch respects the roots, the sap that flows inside it is good. Tradition gives you a foundation, a connection, but it doesn't guarantee a monopoly on truth or effectiveness. Growth means branching out.
So pulling this all together, this deep dive really shows the value of the sensei concept isn't about finding someone with ultimate mastery.
No.
It's about recognizing a guide who is also still learning, who's consciously working to empower you.
To help you stand on your own, not to make you dependent.
Exactly. Making themselves, in that sense, eventually obsolete.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you to maybe chew on. If the goal of a truly good teacher, a sensei, is to become unnecessary to help you walk freely on your own path, then take a look around your own life. What structures may be at work, in your education, your spiritual practice, even your hobbies? What structures are set up to keep you dependent on the authority figure? And which ones are genuinely designed to set you free?
Thank you for listening to this podcast.
Kendo Iaido Italia, il podcast.